Hey there, creepy peeps. My name is Vicky and I like talking about horror movies and books all year long. So if you also like to talk about horror books all year long, you should subscribe. And I mean that seriously. I even have a creepy book club that I do a live stream for every month. So you really should subscribe if you like horror books. So it's that time of year again. 2023 is coming to a close. So now we can look forward to the new year, I guess. I feel like the only thing that I have to look forward to every year now is the new horror movies and the new horror books. Let's be honest. There is already so much exciting news for the new horror books of 2024. So let's get into it in release date order, of course. And just as a side note, there is currently a boycott going on of St. Martin's Press and their imprints. A quick Google search will tell you what that's all about, but just for your peace of mind, none of the books included in this video are from St. Martin's or any of their imprints. So We Ate the Dark by Mallory Pearson comes out on February 1st. It follows 4 women who return home after one of their friends who disappeared 5 years earlier suddenly turns up dead. This looks like a haunted house story, which I'm a big fan of. And the author's bio says that Pearson portrays themes of folklore, queer identity, loss, and the interaction of these elements within the southern United States. And that all sounds very intriguing to me. I love that that's in their bio. I'm hoping the queer identity stuff especially comes up in this book. Then on February 13th, we have 2 books coming out that I'm really excited about. The first is An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson. Okay, so first look at the gorgeous cover. It's clear that this is a dark academia book, and that's a subgenre that I just eat up. As weird as it sounds, like if I could just be a student, like as a career, I would do that. Is that weird? But upon reading the description of this book further, I realized that this is a Carmilla retelling and I'm living for it. I cannot wait for this book. I'm gonna make it my whole personality. The second book to come out on this day is What Feasts at Night by T. Kingfisher. So we read the first book in the Sworn Soldier series, What Moves the Dead, for Creepy Book Club, and I really enjoyed it. It's quite a short read, but it contains multitudes, you know? Like it was very detailed and I enjoyed it a lot. So the second book is still following our protagonist, retired soldier Alex Easton, who is returning to their home in Galatia to find their house empty, caretaker dead, and an eerie, uncanny silence that's taken over the grounds. So the first book was based on The Fall of the House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe. I can't find anything anywhere about this second book also being based on a Poe story, and just reading the description, nothing immediately comes to mind, but I'm excited nonetheless. All right, then on March 5th, we have The Haunting of Velwood by Gwendolyn Kist, which follows 3 childhood friends that are the only ones to survive the night their entire town is turned into ghosts. Now, I've never seen this show, but it's being advertised for fans of Yellow Jackets. So if you like that show, it's a very good chance you might like this book. I don't know what the show is about, so I can't really speak to what's going to be going on in the book, I guess. Just reading the description, it kind of gives me very light Stranger Things vibes, just in that it sounds like there's like a facility in this town that's doing weird, bad experiments and it's affecting the townspeople. It's kind of giving that vibe. Either way, I'm excited to read it. Also on March 5th, we have Thirst by Marina Jutsuk, which takes place in Buenos Aires in 2 different timelines. The first being in the 19th century, when a vampire comes to Buenos Aires and they must learn to adapt and intermingle with the humans. The second timeline takes place in present day, I believe, where a woman is grappling with the terminal illness of her mother and just motherhood in general within herself when she meets a vampire in a cemetery. Now, all of that sounded great and I was already sold. But the nail in the coffin, so to speak, was this line of the summary, which I'm gonna read verbatim. With echoes of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and written in the vein of feminist Gothic writers like Shirley Jackson, Daphne du Maurier, and Carmen Maria Machado, Thirst plays with the boundaries of genre while exploring the limits of female agency, the consuming power of desire, and the fragile vitality of even the most immortal of creatures. Like, if they had just put that first, I wouldn't have even needed to read the rest of the summary. I would have already pre-ordered the book and just had it all ready to go. So I feel like, at least for me, they buried the lead a little bit with that. I'm very, very excited to read this, and the cover for this is gorgeous also. So April 9th is going to be epic. I'm so excited. We have 2 books coming out that day that I'm really excited about. The first is Ghost Station by S.A. Barnes. I fucking loved Dead Silence by this author. Space horror is so much fun and it's so scary. So in Ghost Station, we have Dr. Ophelia Bray, who is investigating this abandoned planet where the colonizers have mysteriously disappeared. It gives kind of like Roanoke vibes maybe. Either way, I'm expecting it to freak me out just as much as Dead Silence did. So this one came as a surprise to me. I was gathering like all the information I needed for this video, and I just happened upon, it was like, you know, like a little ad on the side, like, you know, I'm looking up these horror books. Google is like, you might like this one as well. And when I tell you, I almost cried when I saw this. My favorite thing is Monsters Volume 2. It's got a cover. It's got a release date. It's got a freaking ISBN. I feel like it's really happening. It's finally happening. My favorite thing is monsters so much. I did a whole video about it. I'll link it up here. You can watch it to hear all about the writer and illustrator of this graphic novel and the story. And I think it's just a beautiful story. It's a beautiful graphic novel. And the second volume, the final volume, has been long awaited. I'm sure by other people, but like mostly by me. So this is just going to be a continuation of Karen Reyes' story as she investigates the mysterious death of her apartment neighbor, Anka, and it's set in 1960 Chicago. I'm not going to shut up about this when it comes out, so just prepare yourselves. All right, on April 16th, Indian Burial Ground by Nick Medina comes out. The story follows Noemi, who is desperate to move away from her reservation, start a new life with her new boyfriend, when said new boyfriend mysteriously turns up dead in an apparent suicide. But things aren't adding up, and Noemi starts to investigate, and she starts to realize that there might be something evil lurking on their tribal lands. This is being billed as a mythological horror, which that's another classification if you just put that at the top. I'm immediately going to pick this up. I'm immediately going to look into it. I'm immediately going to read it. So that's why I'm excited for this one. And then on July 9th, we have Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle. I've never read a Chuck Tingle book before. I've definitely seen the covers of Chuck Tingle's books before though. I'm reading my first one this year, Camp Damascus. We'll be reading it for Creepy Book Club. So I'm not really sure what to expect yet, but I mean, just looking at the cover of this book and the title, I'm interested. Feels like it might be maybe a little bit of a kind of metafiction. Main conflict seems to be with our protagonist, Misha, not wanting to give in to the kill your gaze trope, and that puts a target on his back in Hollywood. So it seems like it's gonna be very like meta Hollywood sort of vibe. I'm really excited to read it. It looks like it's gonna be a fun time. I've heard really good things about Chuck Tingle's horror books, so we'll see. So I realized that there are so many more horror books that I'm excited about in 2024 that we have news for already. So there will be a part 2 coming out very soon. In the meantime, let me know what books you're excited about in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, there'll be 2 more on the screen in just a second if you want to check those out. If not, I will see you later this week with my most anticipated horror movies of 2024. So I will see you soon with that video. Until then, stay strange. Bye.